a true reflection of you.
This is NTV.
A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Indeed, it is the 15th day of June 2020. You're watching NTV at ONE. My name is Zainab Ismail. We have all the stories making headlines across the country and beyond. Now, Cabinet Secretaries for Interior, Water and Health are currently in Olkalau, Nyandarua County on a tour of various development projects. The Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe will be addressing the nation from Nyandarua to give the latest COVID-19 numbers in the country. And we have our reporter Bridget Ngana on standby. We'll be joining her shortly during the course of this bulletin. Now, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i's motorcade was held up in a protest early this morning along the Nairobi-Nakuru Highway. PSV teams and residents united to protest what they termed as unfair treatment of Limuru town, citing the cessation of movement order. The protesters blocked the major highway, as Nayoma Sampao reports.
It was not business as usual along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway as matatu operators blocked the road. They were protesting the roadblock at Rironi, which bars them from accessing the capital. They want the roadblock moved.
Kwa nini hii roadblock ililetwa Friday na haikuwa hapa na kuna ingine imewekwa pale kwa Mathore? Roadblock hapa Limuru ziko 8. Sasa swali letu ni hii. Kwani Limuru imekuwa ina total lockdown?
The residents blocked the Cabinet Secretary for Interior, demanding to have an audience. They say they have also collected more than 600 signatures to petition the decision blocking them from accessing Nairobi and Nakuru.
These are petitioners from Limuru, business people.
They claim that patients ailing from other diseases are unable to access medical services as the only available treatment center has been converted to a COVID-19 facility.
Hospitali ni shida. Ujia mgonjwa akipatikana Limuru, ile hospitali iko karibu ni Tigoni na iko na watu wa coronavirus peke yake. Tumefungiwa kwenda Nairobi na pia kuenda na Naivasha tumefungiwa. Kwani tulikuwa declared hotspot.
They're now appealing to the president to ease some of the restrictions to enable them earn a living. Nayoma Sampao, NTV.
Now, Chief Justice David Maraga has this morning met with Senate leadership in what appears to be an effort by the judiciary to seek alternative ways of resolving disputes between the courts and the executive. Now, the meeting, which was held at the Supreme Court building, brought together the Senate leader of Majority Samuel Pogisho and the Senate Majority Whip Irungu Kangata, and we're now joined with by NTV's Silas Apollo for more details. Silas.
Yes, Zainab, the meeting started at around 11 o'clock in the morning, but the details of what exactly the leaders discussed were a bit scanty. What we were told at the press conference, which happened late a few minutes ago, Chief Justice David Maraga and the leadership of the Senate, led by a Senate leader of Majority Samuel Pogisho, telling us that what they discussed were more of a bilateral collaboration between the Senate and the judiciary. They say, of course, both are independent institutions in the arm of government, but they were trying to look at ways in which they can collaborate on various aspects and various issues going forward. Another thing that the leadership of the Senate was telling us is that it was more of a courtesy call because this is a new leadership in the Senate. Pogisho coming in to replace Kipchumba Murkomen, who was ousted from his position. And so it was more of a courtesy call where the leaders were coming to pay visits to Chief Justice David Maraga, look at some of the possible ways in which they can collaborate, ways in which the Senate can come in and help the judiciary in terms of executing its mandate and its functions, the judiciary also stepping in. But more curiously, of course, is the timing of this meeting. The meeting comes at a time when Chief Justice David Maraga has been consistently crying foul over what he says is the intimidation from the executive, especially, particularly from President Uhuru Kenyatta, who he says has been unable to appoint about 41 judges who were supposed to be appointed to the bench. These judges were interviewed and shortlisted by the Judicial Service Commission sometime last year. So it is that timing of the visit that also raises a lot of concern and curiosity. We managed to ask the leaders, of course, if that is some of the things that they discussed during their meeting. Of course, they are saying that is something that is way out of their mandate. Samuel Pogisho, the Senate Leader of Majority, telling us that is a matter between the executive and the judiciary, and so he expects the president to expedite the matter and, of course, address the concerns that have been raised by Chief Justice David Maraga. Of course, there are also speculations that probably this is an effort by Chief Justice David Maraga to try to reach out, of course, the Senate probably trying to extend an olive branch to the judiciary and try to find an amicable solution to some of these disputes that have been emanating from for some time now. Of course, a lot of issues were discussed. We were talking about how they are looking into the budgeting process, which the judiciary has also said is a matter of concern. Just take a look at what exactly they told us today.
During this complicated moment of COVID-19, we do things now differently. And so we're discussing how best we can maximize on technology, how best maximize on the processes of budget and so on. But really, you can't talk much now about the details of what we have been discussing, because this was just a courtesy call. There were no technical people there. It was just the CJ and ourselves. So you can't really have discussed technical things at this moment. So basically, it's a good thing to relate this way. We are beginning well. We want to begin our leadership with just understanding what are the issues, so that when they come to Parliament, we are able to deal with things that we understand.
Yes, Zainab, another important point that I probably forgot to mention is that today is also the first time that the courts are opening their doors to the public. I remember Chief Justice David Maraga hinted at a possibility of the courts reopening. They had closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And so yesterday there was a bit of a preparations that were taking place. Today, of course, Milimani Law Court is trying to open up its doors. And it's something that is not just here in Nairobi, it's also ongoing in various parts of the country. So a lot of developments happening right now. The judiciary, we expect to see, of course, a lot more coming up. The concerns, of course, LSK has raised a lot of concerns in terms of the independence of the judiciary. A number of stakeholders, independent institutions, the civil organizations have also raised these concerns. And of course, court users are also concerned about their safety going forward while the judiciary is opening its doors to the public. What exactly are the measures being put in place to ensure the safety of court users? So these are things that we'll be looking up to and probably update you in our subsequent bulletin. But for now, back to Zainab.
All right, thanks, Silas Apollo there at the Supreme Court. Now, two MPs from the Rift Valley are now castigating President Uhuru Kenyatta and his Jubilee government, accusing him of undermining the independence of the judiciary. According to the legislators, the constant outbursts by the Chief Justice should be addressed forthwith and not swept under the carpet.
Tunazii kila arm of government, iwe ni executive, iwe ni legislative, wapate kuheshimu ile arm nyingine. Na Maraga kama mzee, Maraga kama Mkristo, amesema yale ameonelea kwamba aseme sababu kazi yake imetatisika pakubwa sana. Kwa hivyo tunaona tu hii ni ulipisaji wa kisasi, sababu tulisikia sote rais akisema kwamba wakati kesi ya uchaguzi iliamuliwa opposite of him, na alipata kusema waziwazi kwamba he will revisit the issue, and I think this is the time that he is now revisiting.
We are asking of our people obedience to the law. Lakini sisi wenyewe wakati hata hii sheria ambayo sisi wote tuko chini yake hatuzingatii ama hatufuati maagizo ya koti, hiyo ni mbaya.
Now, just going back to our earlier story, Cabinet Secretaries for Interior, Water and Health are currently in Olkalau, Nyandarua County on a tour of various development projects. The Health Cabinet Secretary, Matai Kagwe, is set to address the nation from Nyandarua to give the latest COVID-19 numbers in the country. And we're now joined live by our reporter, Bridget Singana, who's just going to update us a little bit on exactly what the ministers are doing there. Bridget?
Yes, Zainab, it is an extraordinary day here in Nyandarua. Right now we are in Olkalau, the county headquarters, and a few hours back, the ministers for Interior, Water and Health arrived here, and they are currently in a closed-door meeting with the governor, Francis Kimemia. And what they're going to do here, apart from just announcing the latest COVID-19 numbers, is do an inspection of various government projects. Remember, earlier on this year, the head of state was here, and in his statement when he was here, he said that he was going to be spearheading or looking into the government projects that had been launched in various parts of this country. Nyandarua has been lagging behind in terms of its road network, so we do believe that part of the itinerary will involve them looking at the road networks. But we do understand also the Inspector General of Police, Hilary Mutiambai, is also here. And among the other projects they're going to look at is the launching of a police station in Oljororok. And this is because of the rise in insecurity along that area, and its environs. But right now we do not have much from the delegation that has just come in here. But everyone is just waiting for the announcement or the latest COVID-19 numbers that are going to be announced from Nyandarua County in a few minutes from now. But they are here, and we do expect to get more from their meeting and also the developments that they are going to partake once they commence the press briefing that is about to begin anytime now.
All right. Thanks, Bridget Ngana there from Nyandarua County. Will be joining her later on when the Cabinet Secretary for Health will be giving us an update with regards to the COVID-19 situation in the country. Now, 4 suspects have been arrested in Ijara in Garissa County after they were found in possession of bushmeat. The 4 were nabbed by a joint operation comprising of officers from the Kenya Wildlife Service, Northern Rangeland Trust and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. 150 kilograms of giraffe meat, dik carcasses and 2 lesser kudus were recovered. The team also seized an assortment of weapons and motorcycles from the suspects who are currently held at Masalani Police Station. Meanwhile, Kajiado County government has set aside 100 million shillings for the rehabilitation of Ngong dump site. The county government says part of the rehabilitated dump site will be converted into public park, as Judith Cherono reports.
The ownership of the land used as a dump site has been in contention for years. Last week, Ngong Court dismissed a suit by several people who lay claim on the part of the 5-acre piece of land. The county government is now ready to rehabilitate the dump site.
Niwaombe sisi wote viongozi na wananchi tuungane katika hali ya kusafisha Ngong yetu, kaunti yetu, mazingira yetu, na baada ya hapo tuweze kutengeneza njia ambaye taka hizi inatengenezwa kuwa mali kwa watu wetu.
Ngong dump site has been an eyesore. It has been a health hazard for the nearby schools, churches and homes.
And during the campaign, we did promise people we are going to remove it. So if we remove it, I think it will be a very good thing for Ngong.
Governor Lenku has reiterated the county government's commitment to initiate a mega waste management project in 3 phases. The first phase involves a decompositioning and rehabilitating the dump site, while phase 2 consists of development of a waste recovery center. The last phase is the construction of an integrated solid waste management plant at the veterinary farm in Ololua Ward, which has been met with resistance from the locals and Kenya Veterinary Association. Judith Cherono, NTV.
Now, a family in Umoja Estate in Nairobi is still seeking justice 3 years after their daughter was involved in a minor incident involving a matatu at a bus terminus. The mother says the young victim is still affected by the injuries she suffered in 2017, as Ruth Sarmwe reports.
Joyce Asiko, the mother of two, recounts the fateful day when her then 9-year-old daughter Michelle was hit by a matatu. They had just alighted at the Donholm stage and were waiting to cross the road.
Hiyo gari ilitoka tu nyuma, huyo driver, na bila watu, walikuwa tu watu wawili ndani. Akakuja, yani kando kwa stage, si kwa njia. Na ikakanyaga mtoto wangu. Aliumia tu kabisa, lakini watu wanaona kama hakuumia. Jumi ndio nagaramia, najua.
Michelle was immediately rushed to Mama Lucy Hospital. She then reported the incident to the police.
Nikaandikwa statement, nikapewa abstract na P3. Nikaripoti venye accident ilifanyika. Nikaambia niko Mama Lucy, hakuna mtu yeyote ananisaidia. Hata na complain driver na mwenye gari wanisaidie but hawako. Napiga simu anakataa. Hiyo gari Marvel Sacco ilikuwa na sticker ya Direct Line Assurance Company. Hiyo sticker inamaanisha kwamba in case of accident yao ndio wanasimamia.
This family has been seeking justice for 3 years now, and despite the numerous times they have filed cases through their lawyers, their pleas are yet to be presented before the court.
Even though Michelle has recovered from the accident, there are still complications that have arisen from the incident.
Usiku ikifika, yeye complain sana, sometimes analia, sina pesa ya medications. Kama juu sasa na hii corona nitatoa wapi pesa? Alikuwa na complain sana usiku, akilia mguu nauma, joints. So nilikuwa naomba for justice. I seek for justice, juu mimi peke yangu sitaweza.
Ruth Sarmoi, NTV.
A very really unfortunate story there. Now, Saboti MP Caleb Amisi has hit out at NC leader Musalia Mudavadi and his Ford Kenya counterpart Moses Wetangula for accusing ODM leader Raila Odinga of interfering with their political parties. Amisi says the two leaders should instead focus on addressing the internal wrangles within the parties instead of dragging the former Prime Minister's name into the crisis. We'll be having that story in just a moment. Let's just cross over live to Nyandarua County, where we have Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe speaking right now. Let's listen in.
Ya gavana wa hii county, na tuna wageni mashuhuri sana kutoka Nairobi ambao wametutembelea hapa wakiongozwa na CS wetu CS Matiang, ambaye pia mnajua anaongoza agenda 4 za rais. Pia tuko na waziri wetu Mutahi wa health, in charge of health, ambaye amekuja pia hapa, rafiki wetu sana. Na pia tuko na waziri wa maji Sisi Kariuki, ambaye pia tuko naye hapa. Tuko pia na wale ambao unajua mask, mkuu wa polisi IG wa polisi tuko naye hapa pia, na tuko na regional commissioner wetu na ndugu yangu hapa Senator Githiomi, tuko naye hapa. Viongozi wengine wako pale Nyandarua Institute of Science and Technology. Kwa ufupi tumejadiliana maneno mengi, maneno ya maendeleo. Hii ni timu ambayo imekuja kwa kufuatilia yale maendeleo ambayo rais ameanzisha katika kaunti yetu, na tumeenda item by item ambayo tumekuwa tukijadiliana na rais kusaidia kaunti yetu. Iwe ni mambo ya potato processing plant ambayo tunaanzisha mwezi wa 7, na national government itaweka pesa na county government inaweka pesa. Tumekubaliana tutaanza hiyo mradi. Tumekubaliana mambo ya seed multiplication plant, mambo ya 425 kilometers ya lami ambayo tuko nazo. Tuko na mambo ya maji dams ambazo tumekubaliana zitajengwa hapa. Mtasoma kwa agenda engineer na JM hospital upgrading, na pia mambo ya Nyandarua Institute iwe National Polytechnic, na pia University ya Nyandarua County na stadium yetu. Hiyo ndio mambo kwa ufupi ambayo tumejadiliana. Nafikiri mvua ni baraka, na kwa hayo machache ningependa nimuulize CS wetu CS Matiang anayasema machache alafu tuendelee mbele.
Thank you very much, Governor. My colleagues, Cabinet Secretary for Water and Irrigation, Honorable Sisi Kariuki, my brother and my colleague, the Cabinet Secretary for Health, Honorable Mutahi Kagwe, the Inspector General of Police, the Honorable Senator, and all our colleagues from the national government who are here, led by our Regional Commissioner for Central Region, Mr. Nyawanga. We are on working mission in Nyandarua County today, and we are going to spend all our day here. There's so much work that is going on here, and that's what has brought us here. We would like to request kindly, if you don't mind, we will give you a very comprehensive address at the Nyandarua Institute of Science and Technology when we meet there, because the Honorable Minister for Health today is going to the hospitals and looking at the health facilities here, and his trip will culminate in him addressing the nation today, updating the nation on the COVID-19 situation in the country and what we are doing and our level of preparedness, especially from Nyandarua County. He will be making a very comprehensive statement later, in about an hour or two's time, from the hospital. I am leaving to open the police station and the sub-county headquarters, and I'm going to spend time with my colleagues here looking at the security situation here. We are very concerned about the level of cat rustling here and the murders that have happened here recently, including the grisly murder of a mother and a child in Oljororok the other day. That's why I am here with the Inspector General of Police, and I can assure you, the people of Nyandarua, we will not leave here without a solution. We have come here with the Inspector General to ensure that we sort out this madness.
Well, we do apologize for that signal hitch there. As you can see, it had just began raining. Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i there speaking to the press, and of course he's talking about the issues of insecurity that he intends to address in Nyandarua County. We've also seen the Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe, and we understand that he will be addressing the nation in an hour or two later, and they will be updating the nation as well on the issues with regards to COVID-19. So we will be joining him later on that. Let's now just take a quick break here on NTV at 1. We still have a lot more we've lined up for you. Stay with us.
Sonadol Extra imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli kupambana haraka na maumivu ya kichwa, mwili na hata meno. Sonadol Extra, hakika maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Niko sawa. Ni venye nimetoka clinic na baba Brenda.
Mume wako anakubali mwende hospitali pamoja? Wangu hata nimlipe, hauwezi kubali.
Ilibidi twende na yeye, nipimwe. Yeye hapimwe. Kama kuna HIV, nipewe dawa ndio mtoto asipate HIV.
Wanaume wenzangu, kuandamana na mama akienda clinic na pia kujua hali yako ya HIV ni muhimu. Inaonyesha unamjali na pia unajali mtoto wako mtarajiwa. Je, unajijua?
Unapoendelea kujikinga kutokana na HIV, tafadhali zingatia taratibu zote za serikali za kujikinga na virusi vya korona.
Afya bora, maisha bora. Jipime, jiinue.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching NTV at ONE. Now, Saboti Member of Parliament Caleb Amisi has hit out at NC leader Musalia Mudavadi and his Ford Kenya counterpart Moses Wetangula for accusing ODM leader Raila Odinga of interfering with their political parties. Amisi says the two leaders should instead focus on addressing the internal wrangles within the parties instead of dragging the former Prime Minister's name into the crisis.
As a big house, we will not bend law so that we accommodate our dwarfs, our friends who are perennially dwarfs politically. We've made it clear that we cannot be that the only way you build your political career is by mentioning Raila Odinga, whether for or against. Leaders from Western must learn to stand on principles. Leaders from Western must learn to stand on ideologies. That is what will sell to the rest of the country. The ideology of against Raila Odinga does not work anymore for the people of Western Province.
Men have been urged to speak up and reach out. The Abasera Men's Caucus, which comprises men from Gusii and Nyamira, has challenged others in the community to appreciate their roles and responsibility in society. The Group 3's leadership spoke as they donated a wheelchair to a teenage girl's family.
13-year-old Darlene Nyamusi may not understand what the meaning is all about, but the importance of it cannot be understated. Darlene has lived with cerebral palsy most of her life.
Darlene nilimzaa kwa hali nzuri, akafikia kwa miezi 6, nikaona hali yake imeanza kuwa mbaya. Kaendelea kumpeleka hospitali, nikarudi kutoka huko wakaniambia nimpeleke mazoezi, nikaenda na yeye akafika miaka 8 nikawacha. Kutoka huko nikakosewa na pesa.
The community here is still not open-minded about the disorder. The Abasera Gusii Men's Caucus group is seeking to change that.
It is usually a problem to most parents to accept that my child has got a disability or has got a condition, and most of them actually tend to hide them. We've had cases of parents locking down their children completely, not even allowing the public to see them. That is wrong.
This men's group is ready to assist and identify and locate in their locale this kind of kids. We want to give them an opportunity in life.
With the donation, Darlene's parents hope that she can live a comfortable life.
Kushikia hii kikundi cha hao wazee men's conference, nikasikia ndio nikawaomba usaidizi ambao wamesaidia mahali pakubwa sana. Wamemnunulia wheelchair na naona anaendelea kuwa vizuri. Kwa hivyo ninaomba wale wazazi ambao wako na watoto wako kwa hali kama hii wasiwaweke kwa nyumba, wawatoe nje, na wao ni binadamu kama watu wengine, ndio nao wapate usaidizi kama vile mimi na familia yangu tumeshapata usaidizi.
We are in a pandemic, a period of a pandemic, coronavirus. As a medic, I will not end without speaking about it. That number one, children of that nature, CP and other ailments, have a challenge of mostly immunity because of their feeding, because of maybe the ailments that come. I will urge the parents of these children, the parents of such like people living with disabilities, people with low immunity, to number one, take the government directives, follow the government directives.
Janet Nyamwamu, NTV.
The telecommunications and internet service provision segment of the economy continues to witness vibrant business activity, with Dimension Data consolidating its businesses across East Africa. The consolidation will see all its subsidiaries operating in the region. Internet Solutions, Dimension Data and Continuity East Africa rebranded and operate as Dimension Data East Africa, leading to the retirement of the individual brands by the end of this year. The realignment has also seen Internet Solutions Managing Director Richard Hetchel appointed to head the group's consolidated business in East and West Africa.
So this is not a move to reduce headcount in the business. Where there is duplication, which there is inevitably when you're running three different brands and three different P&Ls, then of course where there's duplication there will be an amalgamation of roles. But actually we're setting up the business for growth, so in the end we'll be employing more people.
Now, China has reported 49 new coronavirus cases today, including 36 more in the capital, Beijing. The fresh cluster linked to a wholesale food market in the capital has raised the potential return to strict restrictions. The National Health Commission on Sunday reported 57 new infections, of which 36 were local transmissions in Beijing, all linked to the Xinfadi market. The 19 other infections were among Chinese nationals returning from abroad. So far, 10,881 people have been tested in the area. Officials have said they plan to carry out virus tests on 46,000 residents in the area. In total, 177 new cases of the virus in China. However, China says it is not counting asymptomatic cases as confirmed ones. Meanwhile, a jihadist attack has claimed the lives of dozens of people in the latest of a flurry of bloody attacks in Nigeria. The attack is linked to the Islamic State group and is said to have targeted the inhabitants of the remote village of Goni Usmanti. The inhabitants say the fighters gunned down 38 people in a raid on Saturday and set a truck ablaze, killing an unknown number of passengers. Security sources and residents said at least 15 people, including 9 soldiers, died hours later in a second attack by the jihadists in the town of Monguno. Residents further say the assailants torched a police station and government buildings before military jets launched airstrikes against them. The United Nations said in a statement it was appalled by the 2 attacks in which many civilians were killed, including a 4-year-old girl. The 10-year conflict in northeast Nigeria has killed at least 36,000 people and forced 2 million from their homes. And thousands of demonstrators gathered outside the Trump Tower in New York on U.S. President Donald Trump's 74th birthday to protest against police brutality. The protest came after President Trump made an appearance at West Point in New York after delivering a commencement address to graduating cadets. Trump did not address the racial turmoil that has swept the country. Neither did he make any mention of his threat to use active duty troops to quell civil unrest in U.S. cities. Protests have been taking place in 50 states in the country since the killing of George Floyd and an armed black man by a white police officer on May 25th. All right, let's now take a look at stories making headlines in the world of sports. To you, Brian Otwell.
Thank you so much, Zainab. And we start with some football politics where, with the Sports Dispute Tribunal expected to give a ruling on a case in which the Kenyan Premier League and Chemelil Sugar opposed Football Kenya Federation's decision to end the 2019-2020 season. That is the top-tier season. CAF confirmed Gor Mahia as Kenya's representatives in the CAF Champions League for the 2020-2021 season. This after CAF released a short list of clubs already qualified for its 2 flagship competitions, with Gor Mahia highlighted as Kenya's representatives. On On Friday, advocates representing KPL, FKF and other interested parties, which include several other KPL clubs, made their oral submissions virtually under a Zoom session moderated by SDT chairperson John Ohaga. However, Tusker FC, Zoo FC, Western Steamer, Kariobangi Sharks, Ulinzi Stars, KCB and Kisumu All-Stars, who are co-joined as interested parties, opposed the case jointly submitted by KPL and Temelil. Sports Dispute Tribunal will make its ruling on the case on June 30th at 2:30 p.m. Moving on, Simba SC restarted their bid to win their 21st Tanzania League title with a 1-1 draw against Ruvu Shooting at the National Stadium in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Tanzania became the first African country to resume a national league suspended during March because of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Fuli Zulu Maganga cancelled out Shiza Kichuza's goal for the draw. Simba are now 72 points after 29 matches, and they have won 23, drawn 3 and lost as many matches. Ruvu Shooting remained in 11th position as well after collecting 40 points from 29 matches. Yanga, who have been champions a record 22 times, won 1-0 away to Mwadui, and Coastal Union overcame a 2-goal deficit to draw 2-2 with visiting Namungos on Saturday. Before being allowed into a stadium, fans must wear a face mask, wash hands with soap or use a hand sanitizer. And in Spain, Marcelo celebrated by taking a knee as Real Madrid returned from 3 months away following the coronavirus suspension by beating Eibar 3-1 on Sunday. After scoring Madrid's 3rd goal in the 37th minute, Marcelo took the knee in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. Toni Kroos, Sergio Ramos and Marcelo scored before halftime in a routine win, and Eibar pulled one back through Pedro Bigas' strike in the second half. Madrid's win means they reduce the gap behind league leaders Barcelona back to 2 points after the Catalans thrashed Real Mallorca 4-0 on Saturday. Real Sociedad drew 1-1 with Osasuna in the day's late kickoff.
Benzema turning, lovely ball. Hazard now onto his right foot to shoot. Good save by Dimitrovic. Rodrigo can't get the rebound, but it falls to Marcelo.
And in Germany, Bayer Leverkusen moved back into the Bundesliga Champions League places with a 1-1 draw on Sunday at injury-hit Schalke, who set a new club record of 13 league games without a win. The result leaves Schalke winless since January. That is January's 2-0 victory at home to Manchester. Djokovic's tournament as the world #1 broke down in tears in front of a packed 4,000 crowd. World #3 team beat Grigor Dimitrov in straight sets to set up the clash with Krajinovic, having